All right, so the Nintendo Direct happened last week, right? And it had some things that shined on it, and it had some head scratchers on there. One of the head scratchers to me was the Virtual Boy. I'm all about retro gaming and stuff, but nobody asked for that. I can tell you one console, if you would have added it to the online expansion pack, and that's the Sega Dreamcast. Let's talk about it. All right, so we're over here in the online expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch, right? You see the Virtual Boys coming out in 2026, right? In November. And I think for the most part we understand what this is.
To Nintendo classics.
The thing is, or whatever, you gotta have like you gotta buy this product. I believe it's like $99.99. It's like $100, and you have to put your Switch 2 or Switch 2 inside the actual glasses to enjoy basically the whole experience of the 3D action, even though it's all red 2D games.
This recreates the form of the original Virtual
Boy
hardware.
But did we ask for
this?
I don't know. I don't think we asked for this at all. I'm not mad at it, but
Nintendo Switch 2
I feel like the Sega Dreamcast would have been the much better choice. I feel like it would have been a much better choice, and you have a whole variety of games. Let's go back. All right, let's go back. Okay, so notice how Nintendo has like a lot of these Sega games on here, right? So wouldn't you be able to get the Sega Dreamcast on here? Why not? You see all these Sega titles, right? I'm just saying, like, if you got the rights to the Sega IP, why not put the Sega Dreamcast on here? Yeah, though, man. But let's go to, and the thing is, whatever, you don't even have to put all the Sega Dreamcast games on here. You can just put them bit by bit. I would start off with 4 Sega Dreamcast games, and here are the 4 games. All right. First game I would start off with on the Sega Dreamcast for the Nintendo expansion pack is Dead or Alive 2. That's an easy sell, man. I'm telling you, you put Dead or Alive on here, and if you want to charge like an extra $20 to put to pay for the Sega Dreamcast or whatever to have access to it, I think people wouldn't mind paying the $20. I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know. I don't know. Like if y'all don't want to pay an extra $20, I mean, let me know in the comments. But I'm just saying though, why not have games like this? The Sega Dreamcast on here in place of the Virtual Boy. I'm not hating on the Virtual Boy. Well, I kind of am, but yeah, it is what it is. Do stuff that people want. Though, man. Like Dead or Alive 2, like, why not? Why not put a fighting game of this caliber on, on the Sega Dreamcast expansion pack? That could have been, and it could be, though. We don't know. All right, next game. Obviously, you gotta throw Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. Because you only need 4 games to start off with for the Dreamcast to be on the expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch. I'm just saying, I feel like people would play this. You throw an online mode on there, why not? Throw online mode on Crazy Taxi. Or would you make a brand new Crazy Taxi for the Nintendo Switch too? Why not? I'm with it. Crazy Taxi was to me, it's still a fun game, And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Crazy Taxi is on Nintendo Classics or whatever. I don't know. But I remember Crazy Taxi being Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation or whatnot. But if you have the IP of Sega and it comes with Crazy Taxi, it's easy work, man. Put Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch. And I could be overstepping. I could be tripping. Maybe I'm talking crazy, but I feel like this would have got people more excited during the Nintendo Direct than Virtual Boy. $100 for something nobody asked for. And this feels like a part 2 of my dream Nintendo Direct. This feels like a part 2. It could be. You announced adding the Sega Dreamcast to the Nintendo expansion pack. I guarantee you people wouldn't mind paying $20 just to access the Sega Dreamcast, as long as you're adding games to it, from the Sega Dreamcast library. People would appreciate it. They wouldn't mind paying the $20. I know I wouldn't. All right, next game. Maybe this is just a personal favorite. You throw Shenmue on there. Long play game. Obviously, it's like 4 CDs. Shenmue was a very underrated game. I feel like games like Shenmue are oh man, like they're game changer type games though, man. Like I love like the fighting, like I guess the martial arts and the learning curve of this game, the progression of this game, the story mode of this game. Look how ahead of its time this game was though, man. Like I'm just saying though, man. Like you see open world, got a great story mode. You learn different martial arts and fighting styles and stuff, and great, just overall was a great game. Game was long, but it was worth it though. Shenmue was one of my favorite games on the Sega Dreamcast. And you can replace that with like a Time Crisis or a what's the name of that shooting game? Anyways, you can replace that with like a Time Crisis or whatnot though. But hey, Shenmue was a good game. That's something if you put it on Sega Dreamcast, expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch, people would play it. I don't see why not. All right, next game. All right, the last game that you would add to start off the Sega Dreamcast expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch 2 is Jet Set Radio. I still want a new version of this game. To me, this game was so underrated though, man. Ahead of its time. Look at the graphics, look at the style. A lot of the style of some of these newer games get their vibe from this game. Got that skater feel. Anime, not anime, but that eye-popping cartoon 3D feel, like 2D, 3D. You do different missions, graffiti art, getting away from the cops, you're grinding. And overall, this game was just so fun. And it was open world, an open world game for the Sega Dreamcast, though, man. Like, it was stuff to do on this, though, man. And it was fun. Like, this game, you could do missions, but you could actually just ride around. You can ride around. Skate around. Sorry about that. You can skate around. And, yeah, though, man, it was just an overall good game. And not to say that the Virtual Boy is a bad, was a bad idea. I don't think anybody asked for that. All the things that we asked for on the Switch 2 as far as like the direct, man, we didn't get a lot of things that like, besides Resident Evil, and there was some good stuff on there. But you add the Sega Dreamcast, people are excited. People would get excited. I would be excited if they would have added something like the Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, though, man, it's just so many choices that you could add, on the Sega Dreamcast, though, man. They already have I believe they already have Marvel's Capcom Fighting Collection on there. They already have like a Power Stone, whoever, on the Fighting Collection on Capcom Fighting Collection 2. There's just so many other games that you can add from the Sega Dreamcast catalog and build and stuff on that, and on the Nintendo expansion pack, Nintendo Switch expansion pack. People would appreciate it. People love retro gaming. Nobody asks for the Virtual Boy. And then $99 to play all red games, with a headset. Nobody asks for that. That price is definitely steep. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just tripping. But y'all let me know in the comments, man. Like, would y'all like to see Sega Dreamcast on Nintendo Switch 2? The online expansion pack? I would. Let me know, man. Well, let me know what games you'd like to see, or something else besides the Virtual Boy. If you agree with me, let me know what you would like to see, on the online expansion pack, besides the Virtual Boy. Would you like to see a Sega Dreamcast? Would you like to see a Sega Saturn? Would you like to see that? Maybe that's pushing it, though. I'm just talking. I'm giving my opinion. But you already know it's Dudeman's Architect Mr. J with another video. You haven't already hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like, comment, share. Until next time, peace.